everyone, Putty Katia here, and I'm back playing through my Steam library, starting with the worst games first. Like I said last week, I figured out what was going wrong with the software that I used to record the games, so the videos should be much better now. Something else that was really crappy was the audio from the narration, and that was because I was using this wireless headset. Now, wireless headsets are great if you're just using them for TeamSpeak and Mumble, because if there's downtime you can just get up and go to the kitchen and make yourself a martini or something. But for doing YouTube narrations, they're just not that great. I would never use a cordless mouse or keyboard because I just don't trust them. They drop signals and they're just not good for gaming. But, you know, I've gone through a lot of headsets over the years. Usually they die from me running their cords over with my wheels on my chair. So this seemed like a good alternative, but it's not good for YouTube. So now I have a wired microphone and I'm still trying to figure it out, but hopefully as we go on I'll get better at it and the quality will improve. So let's get to the games. Pirates Deck is a game that came out a little over a month ago. As you can see here, it's a multiplayer game and you have to collect these trophy things. So let's join a game. There are none happening. Okay, that's a little weird. I guess I'll host one. I can see a little bit of the game on the right hand side of my screen, and that is the problem I ran into when trying to play, is no matter what I did on this little screen thing here, I couldn't get the Pirates Deck splash screen out of the way, and I exited and relaunched multiple times until eventually I was successful and I got the game to play. Unfortunately, it made me extremely motion sick because, as you can see, you just kinda go every which way with this little thing. You got some little pellets to shoot, but since I don't have anyone to play with, there's not really much of a point to it. It's very cloudy in here, but I'll do my best. A little thing to collect, it looks like. Let's just go at it. I'm not sure what's going on here. If it's something like a magnet where we're both like the same polarity or something, and every time I get near it, it kind of repels me away or something. It just was impossible to try to get that darn thing. I'm gonna just try to sneak up on it here and get it, and it is clearly not going to happen for me, I guess. Okay, so let's skip ahead to where I was a little bit more successful in piloting. I'm not sure what that thing was. I don't think I actually collected it there either, but here's a trophy, and I actually got it. Yay, I guess? Continuing with our decky theme is Hands on Deck, where apparently we're going to have an actual boat this time. This map looks extremely accurate. Let's go to the Caribbean or Caribbean? Those are some weird looking controls. Unlike other boat games that I've played in the recent past, this boat actually goes forward and does what you want when you steer it. It does have quite a bit of momentum, but it's in water, so I guess that's to be expected. You gotta collect a lot of stuff. I guess that's the type of game this is. It's a stuff collecting game. You gotta shoot other boats too, but let's face it, that guy didn't have a chance. He was tiny. Here's another boat, and I'm gonna shoot it. There's these obstacles that make me wonder what age range this was intended for, because these fire shooting thingies are extremely hard to get your boat to hit without going around the corner here and kind of getting right in their way. And if you do manage to even, you know, get slightly hit by them, you better have full health, otherwise you're gonna get toasted pretty badly here. This appears to be some kind of a secret, I guess? I'm not sure. It doesn't look very secretive, but I guess I should try to get in there and see what kind of goodies might be in there. It turns out there was just some more stuff to collect. Some coins and treasure chests and some boats to shoot. Here's one of the fire things, pretty much instantly killing me, and the great thing is that if you die, you lose all your progress. You start from the very beginning. You have to do the whole thing over again. So much fun. Ski World Simulator. I could not figure out what to do. Half the time it started me in a vehicle, and the other half the time I was just staring at the world map. So I looked at the help, but it was just like the edit mode for PowerPoint. I did find out that you have to use your vehicle to do these tasks that you are assigned every Monday. My vehicle fishtailed wildly, which is kind of weird because you would think a vehicle meant to drive in the snow wouldn't almost flip over in the snow and fishtail so much, but it does. I've actually managed to get vehicles to flip over completely and kind of had to restart my game because I couldn't afford to buy another vehicle at that point. As you can see, the world map doesn't show the tree or where the tree was or that my task was done, so I decided just to delegate all the tasks. Couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting any customers, and it was really frustrating. But eventually, after multiple attempts at getting it to go, I figured out it was the cableway I needed, and we finally have our first skier right here. Hooray! So without me doing the tasks, I just delegated them every Monday, and all I had to do was hit next day every day and buy everything I could and delegate tasks on Monday. Here you can see their very great description for restaurant number 7. I wonder if I'm the only person that has ever gotten that far, because that doesn't seem like it should have been there. Eventually, I bought all the vehicles I could, and I got into my most expensive one, and decided to go on a rampage. Unfortunately, when I tried to run into a tree, it didn't do anything, so that did not bode well. Running into the patrons just proved that I was not going to be doing much mayhem. So I started driving up the hill, and all the dudes started doing this. It was really creepy. I let them gather for a while, but then eventually my urges kicked in, and I had to see what would happen. And it was kind of interesting to watch them all go over my vehicle and then just kind of scoot away. Siege of Turtle Enclave. Once there was an awesome cel-shaded city of turtles, but then some asshole owls showed up and started beating them with sticks. The owls were total douchebags, wrecking the city. I really wanted to love this game. It's a 4X game, and that's one of my favorite genres. Unfortunately, they load you up with a lot of stuff in the beginning in what they call a tutorial, but it's just a bunch of slides with a really, really hard font to read. I had no real clue of what I was supposed to do here besides build things and recruit dudes. It was hard to figure out what the buildings were going to do because all they showed was the name and how much resources it cost to build each. It cost time to build each building, and sometimes when I would build a building, it would force me to go to the next day, and the next day would be nighttime with no time available, so I couldn't do anything. This would happen for several days sometimes. The world map was very similar in that they load you up with a bunch of information and no set goals. There's a grid and a lot of stuff to do apparently, but that's way too much information for me to have read all at once and figured out. So I tried my best to figure it out on my own. I actually spent 2 hours trying to figure out this game, but I never really got the knack of it. I split my turtles into warbands and then sent them off into various squares to collect resources. Some of these squares have some clouds on them, which indicate the square hasn't been cleared yet. I didn't know that at first, but eventually it was kinda obvious. The battle system is a little frustrating. Whenever I would use the automatic one, no matter if the owls outnumbered me or not, my turtles would always win. If I tried to use the non-automatic one, the owls would always win, even if I had more turtles on my side, which was very annoying because there was nothing I wanted to see more than my little turtles to kick the owls' asses. The Escapist. This game makes some claims that you can use a joystick, aka a controller, but my Xbox controller did not work well at all, because you have to aim your little dude with the controller, and it's really hard to do with its joysticks. They start you out with this really cartoony tutorial, which just gives you the basics of having to run and jump. Then you find out that there's tons of obstacles that you need to use this weird mechanic to do. This game also has a very unfortunate name, as many of us already know that The Escapist is a very popular gaming website, and The Escapists is actually a somewhat popular Steam game. I'm not sure why they chose the name for this. I know at the beginning of it they showed a really terrible comic type thing that shows that you steal a diamond and you're trying to escape with it. You have to use what is the unique mechanic in this game of the aim and jumpy thingy to get past the obstacles. There's a little bit of hang time if you hold your mouse down and you can aim yourself, but it was still pretty difficult to do this. Some of the levels probably took me about 50 attempts to do just because of all the obstacles that they had, while others were so easy that I was able to get them done in about 2 tries. The game gets real hard real quick, but luckily you don't have lives that you have to worry about. You just keep attempting each level over and over again. Collecting coins allows you to buy upgrades. I ran the first level over and over again to grind coins just to buy an upgrade to see if it was worth it, but it made no noticeable difference in gameplay. The boss level for the first world is this wall thing that comes at you, and you have to jump over a series of obstacles. This I found very annoying because the spin animation on the jump is kind of weird. I just didn't like it. And then you run into these obstacles and it became almost impossible to deal with. So that was enough of that game because I'd played an hour of it. So that was this week's games. I think I'm gonna go back and try the turtle game some more and see if I can figure it out. I think we're on the cusp of hitting some actually playable, fun games. I know they're still not going to be the greatest, but I mean, something's got to be fun and playable here pretty soon. So I'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll have something good to watch.